Hello, dreamers. Welcome back to the show. If this is your first time watching or listening, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. Hit subscribe on the YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Livin the Dream 506. Share it. Tell your friends about it. All that good stuff. Everything helps. So thanks, at the very least, for just being here. On today's show, I decided to mix it up a bit and bring in a special guest to be my co-host. He's an expert in the dark arts, local All Them Witches superfan, and my good friend, Mr. Brad Stuart. And on today's show, we finally get to sit down and hang out with the guitarist from one of our favorite bands. I've been looking forward to doing this interview for so long, and it did not disappoint. I hope you enjoy this half as much as we did. His solo project is called Woodsplitter, and he is the guitarist for the band All Them Witches. Their new album, Nothing As the Ideal, is out now, so without further ado, please give it up for Ben McLeod.
Living a dream. 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 Living a dream.
So yeah, let's just kick it right off. You said you just did a guitar lesson. You want to tell us about what you're doing with that?
Yeah, I'm doing online Skype guitar lessons now. Since there's no touring, the bills of life keep coming in, but the touring is not happening right now. So it's actually been really awesome, and I wish that I would have got into it. I don't know that the band would have had the fan base 5 years ago for me to do lessons, but I wish that I would have gotten into it sooner. It's been a lot of fun, and like everyone's been rad. Every lesson's a little bit different. A lot of people want to learn songs off of like the new album. Some just want to learn like 2 or 3 riffs off of, a certain album. And then a couple guys just wanted just to talk and just ask questions about like how we record and how we write and like gear and things like that. So, I mean, they've all been different and stuff, but one of my students is this like 11-year-old savant, and he's absolutely crushing it. He's done 2 lessons, and he's scary good, like really, really good. Way, way better than I was when I was that age. So I'll like show him something on the guitar, and he's like, he'll just like think about it and then just like do it. And he's like totally learns by ear. So it's killer.
That's funny
Makes
you say
my
that.
job easy.
I was talking to another guy that's doing the online guitar lessons, and he said he's had a lot of repeat like students, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
And he's got one guy that he said is 10 times better guitar player than him. So on like the 3rd lesson, he's like, why do you keep doing this? Like, you end up showing me riffs by the end of it and scales and stuff. And the guy's like, I just like to see your take on the music. So I was kind of wondering if you had the same experience where guys are just like maybe looking for just a chill session with one of their favorite artists and maybe just bounce ideas back and forth.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm honored that like people would even want to sign up for lessons and stuff. And I'm even more honored that a couple of the people would just want to, pay for an hour of my time, which, at first I felt weird about it, but then I was like, if a musician that I highly respected and someone that I, at a click of my cell phone button could just get whatever information that I wanted off of them, hell yeah, I would absolutely do it. In fact, I'm taking a lesson from one of my favorite guitar players on Thursday because of that. So he's like teaching lessons.
Who are we talking about?
His name is Lauer Joe Metz. He used to play for Sturgill Simpson.
Fuck
And
yeah.
yeah, I'm taking a lesson from him because I'm kind of getting into like more of like the hybrid picking country stuff. I find it fascinating, and it's something. I mean, I don't play that style, so it's like if I'm gonna learn it, I'm gonna learn it from him or someone like Guthrie Trapp. Guthrie Trapp charges a little bit more, kind of out of my price range. So maybe I'll take one from him. But yeah, like I mean, I'm taking lessons, so it's just kind of opened my eyes. Such a cool thing that's like happening right now. And that obviously, Skype guitar lessons is like nothing new, but back to what we were saying is, if I was really into a band and could, learn some riffs directly from the person that I'm hearing, that would awesome. It would be insane. So
Yeah, that's another
kind of makes you feel like a kid again.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of a silver lining with what's going on right now, like where artists are so much more accessible, and like you said, it's cool to have it right at your fingertips. Somebody that you know and love, that you can just, let's learn the riff directly from the source. And I mean, this for me right now is exciting. Like, I didn't even introduce myself. I was just so excited to talk to you tonight, like, and just the hype leading up to it, and just to have guys like you more accessible right now is, like I said, it's just the silver lining of things. And just to put a bookend on that, like I said, I didn't introduce myself. I'm Chris. I'm the host of this show, Livin the Dream, and this is my guest co-host, Brad.
Hey.
Super fan.
Nice. Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you.
My name's Ben. You already know that. But where are you guys located?
We're in New Brunswick, Canada.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
St. John.
How cold is it there right now?
It's freezing right now, 0 Celsius.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm in Florida. Now, and it is today was a cold day. The high was like 69, which is like, that's pretty unusual. Like, it doesn't really get that cold until like the end of November. But I mean, 3 days ago it was 90 degrees Fahrenheit.
Fuck yeah.
It was hot.
we're just getting colder and darker.
Yeah.
So what else have you been up to? I noticed like you made a couple posts about mixing and and like producing some shit. So what else is on your table right now?
Yeah, so I've kind of not like stepped away from the producing stuff. It's just I obviously, I'm not gonna be like present in everyone's sessions and like things like that, and bands are not they're not really going in studios right now, and most bands are recording at home and things like that. And also a lot of bands really only have the budget to record themselves. So when I was in Nashville, which me and my wife just left Nashville about 3 months ago to move to Florida, we'd been wanting to for like years. So I was doing a lot of producing in Nashville, with like friends, bands and stuff. But the reason why I'm not producing as much and doing mixing more is because I'm getting bands from around the world who have already recorded themselves, and they're like, it's kind of word of mouth. They're like, hey, I heard that you've been mixing. And then they'll just Dropbox me their like session or like Google Drive and stuff. And I've been doing that. I've been doing mixing for about 2 years now, and it's been awesome. It's been so much fun. Like, I mean, I'm a guitar player first and foremost, but I definitely have an ear for mixing. It's been a blast. I've gotten to like befriend bands from all over the place just by working on their records and stuff. And I haven't had any angry customers yet. So
Is it usually the same sort of genre as you guys?
oh no, not at all. Like I mixed a pop band. I've mixed a lot of pop bands, and then a lot of electronic bands. lately I've been getting a lot of thrash bands, which is killer. I'm really stoked. Like thrash bands out there, send me your stuff. And then a lot of, like kind of dark rock stuff, some punk bands. I think I got an Israeli psych band called Java.
Sick.
In the beginning of the year. I mixed them. Their record turned out awesome. And then one of the more interesting ones was this band. They're from the Netherlands, and they're like a 3-piece rock band, but instead of electric guitars, it was Irish bouzouki. So
What are they
which
called?
is like this odd acoustic stringed instrument. But it was awesome stuff.
What was the name of that band?
They're called Left Eye.
Left Eye. We're going to check
Yeah.
them out for sure.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you some of the ones that stood out to you that you've mixed that you maybe recommend.
Yeah, I'm really proud. So this band that I've worked with a lot called Oganali, they're from Nashville. They just put out an EP and it's fire. It's great. They outdid themselves with like the songwriting, and I actually got to produce and record that. I didn't just mix it because that was when I was still living in Nashville. So Oganali's awesome. And then I mixed a split for Howling Giant, which turned out really, really cool. And then I'm really psyched on this band that I'm mixing right now. They're a thrash band. They're called Arsena, and I think they're like a brand new band from Maryland, I believe. But they're so tight. Like when I opened up their session, and I mean, there's no trickery. Like it's just solid musicians, which is so much fun. Like I don't have to do any tricks, which it's fine. Everybody does that. But yeah, they're great. And then who else is putting out cool stuff? There's a guy in Nashville called Vid Nelson who I got to mix 2 songs for, and he is insanely talented. I hope he sends me a full length to mix at some point. But he's killer. He could be like something along the lines of like Devo meets Neil Young. So
Sick.
very, very. He's an awesome guitar player. So
Nice.
but yeah, so it isn't. It's not just like stoner rock bands sending me stuff. It's all kinds of stuff. Electronic stuff and pop. I like it all because it's music and it's coming at me out of my studio monitors as loud as possible. So
Nice.
cool.
What about original
Yeah.
stuff? Are you working on any new All Them Witches or solo stuff, like Woodsplitter stuff?
Yeah, so no Woodsplitter stuff. I just put out a new Woodsplitter single called Erosion. That was back in August, and I wrote it in I think I wrote it and recorded it in one day and then mixed it the next day, just because I wanted to put something out, because I got my new kind of mix room set up and in our place down here, and I was a little worried, kind of stressed out, not living in Nashville anymore and being out of Music City. I was like, man, am I leaving work behind? And so I was like, I need to just put out something right away and just try to kind of stay prolific with the stuff. But then I was going to do more songs, but as soon as we got back down here, I was just slammed with the mixing stuff. So I was like, well, okay, I get, it's 2020. I guess it really doesn't matter where I'm living. So that has been great to know, because when you're in Nashville, you're going to shows all the time. You're constantly meeting bands and hanging out with bands. And so my fear was that I was going to live down here and kind of be out of the loop, and I wasn't going to get considered for jobs, but that's not been the case. It's been, I would say, busier. I mean, I don't know if that's because people are cooped up and they're recording a bunch, but I'm very thankful.
Yeah. What was the reason for moving to Florida?
So my wife and I, we were big beach people. Like we wanted to be near the beach. Like I actually grew up here. I went from preschool all the way to college here in my hometown, which is St. Augustine, Florida, and then moved to Nashville like a couple weeks after graduation. And I was in Nashville for 10 years and always knew that I wanted to come back here. I was wanting to be closer to my roots. I mean, Nashville had awesome roots and stuff. It was an amazing place to live. But as you get older, you kind of want to, this is going to sound stupid for someone who's watching this, who's like, in their 50s or 60s. I'm only 32. But when you get older, it's like you kind of think about, okay, where do I really want to end up? Where do I want to live? And that was St. Augustine for both me and my wife. So.
Yeah, nice. With the, you guys never really get a chance to tour the new album. And if you're writing new music, like, do you think you guys would actually put out another album if it ever came to that? Like, if things don't get better sooner than later?
Yeah. I'm going to say no. And sorry, I didn't answer your previous question, but no, ATW is not working on anything new because we love this album so much. We're so proud of it. It's our favorite thing that we've ever done. And we want to tour it. And if it means, worst case scenario that we even have to wait a couple years, like who knows what's going to happen, but we're not going out on tour until we can tour this album. And we're not doing another album until we've toured this album, the Nothing Is the Ideal, because we've been getting insane response from like fans and stuff like that. People just really, really enjoying it, which is so refreshing. I mean, normally a band after 6 albums, unfortunately, you're kind of doing that. But I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that people have been enjoying this album as much as any of them. So we owe it to our fans to be fresh on that and to go out and tour this album. And I'm just afraid that if we recorded anything new, then we're going to be burnt out on Nothing Is the Ideal and not be excited to go out and tour it because we want to do the new stuff, So I hope that's not disappointing.
No. Yeah, this album's like my favorite guitar stuff you've done. Like I love this album through and through. But like are you guys like a get in the room and jam kind of thing, or you're like, hey, I have a basket full of riffs, here it is?
Like what are you talking about? Like
how we wrote it? Yeah.
Oh, how we wrote it? Yeah. So it was it was from scratch. Like we had nothing. And the entire months of January and February of this year, we all literally just got in the same practice space, which is Robbie's place down in Woodbury, Tennessee. And we just basically started from scratch, which was kind of like the first way that we did that ever, going into practice with nothing and then coming out with a full album before even flying to London. And it was so fun because like every day, you'd have a new part to like one of the songs, or we'd be doing like a demo session and Parks would come up, he would have his vocal melody for like another song. And it was really cool to like watch it build. And also, we didn't feel like we were pulling it out of our ass as much because all 3 of us, a 2-month writing session for All Them Witches is like 5 years for any other band. Like normally it's like, okay, we're recording in a week. What do you got?
Yeah.
So
nice.
Yeah. And then I had one riff going into the album, which was that was the only riff that I had for the whole album. And I was like, oh, this sounds like Graveyard. I want the album to sound like this. Yeah. And it ended up making it. So I was happy.
Nice. I saw a video of looked like a 10-year-old kid playing that riff the other day.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Is that the kid?
That's that kid.
Oh, yeah?
Okay,
yeah, that's the kid that I was telling you about.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, he's nuts. He's going to be insane.
So the track See You Next Fall from the new album, everything was written before you got to Abbey Road, but when you recorded the 45-minute version, was that improv or was that whole 45-minute composition written in advance?
Yeah, no. So that was 100% improv. So we had another song that was fully written that was going to be on the record that all of us ended up just, it would have stuck out like a sore thumb. So we scratched it. No one will probably ever hear it. And we were like, okay, well, we need another song. So we wanted to put some kind of jam on it, because that's like the ATW style. And so we had like one full day left. It was the second to last day, because like on the last day we did a lot of like prep work for like mixing and stuff, and like went through all the tracks and just made sure that we didn't need to like reamp something. So the day before we did that, we had a full day to like jam, and we did like 2 45-minute jams, which is that's a lot of jamming. And so we also had to reset back up everything, like all the drums, put all the amps like together and kind of mic everything in a certain way to where there wasn't too much bleed. And that the See You Next Fall jam, that didn't become a thing until we got home. And I like went into the Pro Tools session and basically found the best kind of like 9 minutes. And luckily we stayed in like pretty good time, because like one of the sections is from like the very first part of the jam, and then there's another that's like the middle, and then actually the end of See You Next Fall is the very end of the jam. Like that's minute 45. That's like how it ended. And I was like, oh, Robbie's doing like insane drum stuff. Like we have to have this. And then so I spliced it, and then Parks recorded vocals over it, and I added like 2 guitar parts. I added a solo and then a couple like heavy rhythm stuff and like the chorus, and then just gave it back to Mikey, who was our engineer, and was just like, here, deal with this, make this sound good. And that ended up being my favorite song on the album.
Nice. So we're not going to hear the full 45-minute version?
Oh, for sure. Nice. I was talking about the one song, that we scrapped. You probably won't hear that, but yeah, I think that people should hear the 45-minute version.
So when are we going to hear it?
In 45 years. No, I don't know. I might just put it on like YouTube.
Fuck yeah.
One of these. It'll be like a random rainy day. I'll wake up, and that's how Effervescent was. Nice. I was just bored one day, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to put this online. And then it was Effervescent. So I'm sure that I'll do that. It isn't, and it'll be cool for like people to hear, because they'll be like, oh, this is on See You Next Fall. So
when you play it live, are we going to get a 45-minute version of it ever?
No. But it'll be long. I mean, it'll be longer than the album version. But that whole crazy tripped out intro, that was also from the same day that we jammed, but we were just making noises and stuff. It was like that wasn't a part of the See You Next Fall jam. We just like slid that in, and we also, I'm sure that we have like 3 hours of us just making noises in Abbey Road. Like, dude, I can't believe we're here right now.
That's sick.
We have all the time in the world.
Yeah.
That's great.
Going back to the album before, was Harvest Feast. Was that kind of like the same idea? Because it kind of had that same feel from that, like a jam that kind of got cut down.
Yeah. Well, no, actually, Harvest Feast. So it was a jam, but none of it was spliced. Like, in fact, Harvest Feast, what you hear on the album, that was take one. I know this. I have kind of like a photographic memory for like studio time. But Harvest Feast was the first take we did, and like no splices, no punch-ins. Like, that's exactly how we did it. And we knew that we wanted that like F part. That kind of Grateful Dead part, we wanted that to be really long and like drowned out and kind of just go into a bunch of like reverb and noise. But yeah, I love that song. I love playing that song live. We actually, whenever we play it live, we go into kind of a nod to Dreams by the Allman Brothers.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I caught you guys at the Opera House on that last tour when you guys were in Toronto. I flew there.
That was awesome.
It was sick. Yeah. It was sick, and yeah, that song definitely stood out.
Did we do like kind of the Dreams thing?
Yeah, oh yeah, you guys jammed that song out for a lot longer, it felt like. I was like, that's what I came here for.
That was honestly one of the most memorable shows for me. Actually, I think for everybody, because we got to play a full set, because the time before in Toronto, this is Toronto, right?
Yeah. You're at Lee's place before.
So the time before the power cut off 30 minutes in.
Oh yeah.
We were at that other venue, and it was such a bummer. It was like sold out, and then the power shut off, and we didn't even get to play a full set, and we're just standing there on stage, just like, and like nobody was leaving. Everybody was just like waiting for something to happen, and so we were all just like, I guess we're just gonna go in the green room and just hide and wait, because we couldn't even make an announcement because there was no power, like there was no PA. So we were just like, it was one of the most disappointing moments.
Yeah, that opera show was awesome. Yeah,
so we got redemption. Redemption at the Opera House.
There was people in the crowd talking about it. Like, last time they played like 25 minutes, and then they couldn't play anymore. And I was like, oh, really?
Yeah.
So yeah. There was a lot of talk about that in the crowd.
Yeah.
That was a good show.
Oh,
You guys mentioned the Grateful Dead. Have you guys ever covered the Grateful Dead?
We've not. We've talked about covering Dark Star or Wharf Rat, but we've just never gotten around to it.
Yeah, I know, like, you and Charles are like hugely influenced by Jerry and the Dead, and like, I always wondered what your spin on a Dead song would be. I just always kind of fantasize about hearing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I like Dark Star. I like Wharf Rat. Robbie's kind of more into the later 70s Dead era, which is cool. I know that me and Parks like a lot of the earlier 70s kind of stuff. But I think that we would do it right. It would be cool.
Yeah.
Die-hard Deadheads wouldn't hate us.
No.
So.
Like I said, like, I fucking love the Dead and I love you guys, but to put those two together, like, I hear it in a lot of your music, but to actually see your brush over top of a Dead track would be fucking awesome.
Yeah. Oh, the time will come. Like I think it would be sick to put out an album and to do like a whole ATW Grateful Dead tour, like where we just become the Grateful Dead and we're just playing Grateful Dead songs. I think it would be so sick.
That'd be awesome.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe blend some of your guys' stuff into jams.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you did a Dead track and then went into See You Next Fall for 45 minutes.
Come back out of it.
And then
yeah.
Probably not that. Do the Magnolia.
That'd be fucking sick.
But yeah.
Sick.
That could be fun. Anyway.
In hopes that shows happen again.
Yeah.
One day.
Yeah. Where do you see shows and stuff like going now? Do you feel like an underground, like band smaller than obviously you guys, like here in St. John, Halloween, like it was like last minute, like all these invites went out to like these underground venues we have here where like bands were like, yeah, Burntown, we're playing tonight. And like one of them got shut down, they got fined and stuff like that. Like, is that happening anywhere over there with bands just like, fuck it, we're setting up and playing?
Yeah, so in North Florida, like I just went to a show. I went to a show on October 30th in Jacksonville. Like it's getting to a point now, and you know, politics and personal views aside, it's getting to a point now where venue owners and bands, I mean, I don't know how much more people can take. Like this is our livelihood. This is what we do. It's like it. I mean, for me, if I can't play a show next year, like I'm gonna freak out.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it's this is my life, and it's my career. And think about someone who owns a venue. They want it just as much, you know, from a business standpoint. And I'll say one thing, and you know, people can take it or leave it how they want, but you know, there's a lot of events going on. There's weddings that I know of all over America. People are getting married, and there will be 200 people in these weddings. But as soon as you charge $10 at the door and have a band, it's not allowed.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'm not really, I don't understand that. It's like there's too much gray area when it comes to live shows, and there's too much people making it up as they go along. I understand, like, you know, if you're going to a VOC's show, like if you've ever been to one, you know, there's 500 kids and they're all sweating on each other and like crowd surfing and all that. But
yeah,
I mean, I don't know. It's such a tough thing, but yes, I do think that the first kind of touring bands and like shows is going to be this like kind of punk rock bootleg concert.
Yeah, that's where I feel it's going.
Thing.
It's weird.
Which, you know, I think that's cool. I think it's rad. You know, like if you don't feel good about it, then don't go.
Exactly.
That's what I've been saying.
Yeah. Then don't go. But you know, like, I don't know. I have to kind of tread lightly with that stuff. I have opinions, but other people have opinions and like stuff like that. But
for sure,
I think we're on the same page. Unspoken.
Yeah. It just seems like no one really knows what the hell is going on. So, and everyone's too afraid to be the first ones.
Exactly. And like even going back to venue owners, like even around here, like they're taking a hit. Like some of our like big music venues that we have here, are just like, we need help. We're done in the next few months. It's just like
no, the only thing that is gonna save our venues is is touring bands and shows. There's nothing else is going to do that. Nothing else is going to save them. So, because that's what they are. They're venues. They rely on bar sales from shows, and things like that. But I guess we'll see. You know, fortunately, you know, it's not like we're in year 3 of this. I mean, it's only been since February, really.
It still feels like a 3-month all the wishes jam session though. It's like 10 years.
Yeah. So one thing, like, I have a lot of friends that are, you know, they're just trying to like reinvent the wheel, and it's like you just have to be a little bit patient right now. And you know, it's not like this is forever. At least I hope not. But it's also comforting that every other band is like going through the same thing. It's not, because like sometimes I get so frustrated. I'm just like, why can't my band tour and stuff? And it's like, it's every band. Like every band is like going through the same thing. You know, other bands are not more special than my band. They don't get to play. They don't get to like go out and tour. And like, yeah, in my hometown, there's bands that are playing shows and stuff, but that's only, you know, that's because it's Florida. And so I don't care about like playing a show in Florida. I want to go on tour. I want to go to Europe. Like I want to do a 4-week tour, but because that's what I like.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. So. Have you guys considered or even tossed the idea around of a drive-in show?
That would be killer. That would be awesome. I don't know where we would do it. I can say that we are doing 2 ticketed live stream shows in December.
Sick.
So, I mean, you know, that's kind of like the it's kind of like the vape pen of shows.
Yeah.
The methadone.
I guess it's unlimited access though, wouldn't it be? So you can never really sell it out in a sense.
Oh no. Yeah.
So that's kind of sick in a way.
It's gonna be, you know, it'll be like $5 or $10, and you know, we'll play for 2 hours and stuff, and it's gonna be crazy lights and things like that. And because at first we were like, no, we're not gonna do the live stream thing. You know, we're only doing 2, and then that's it. We're not doing any more than 2. And so we're going to make it look really cool, but to kind of like offset, because like I like going to shows. I don't like to just play shows. I like going to them. So I've just been watching YouTube videos and like putting it on like the big screen and stuff. And I don't know, it's been fun. So that kind of changed my mind. I know that Robbie's really excited about it because he gets to like make the visuals look like super cool, and like we're gonna have like strobes and shit. It's gonna be awesome.
Sick.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. From a fan perspective, I know myself and a lot of my friends, we very often stream live shows. And just the ability to not have to travel when you can't travel. Like even when things open up, we're in Canada, we may not be able to cross the border to come to these shows, even if they do start back up. So there is a bit of a helpless feeling here. So I have tuned into a few live streams since this all started of bands, both at drive-ins and in studio, just performing live in a studio. And it's not that bad, like considering. And like you said, I want to play a live show and I want to be at the show. My life is live music and going to live concerts. But in the absence of that, it is, and like you said, the vape pen. It's the methadone of concerts. It's not we're not getting the real hit, but I mean, that's a Mark Norman reference for the comedy.
Yeah.
Where they're doing like outside shows and drive-in shows and stuff. But it will help us get by, and to hear that you guys are doing that is fucking exciting.
Yeah. We haven't announced it, so consider this the announcement.
Beautiful.
But yeah, a drive-in tour would be badass. That would be awesome.
When they started, like I went to one right at the start of the pandemic, and it was local, and you had to stay in your vehicle, and the FM feed was the concert, and that kind of, it didn't work in my opinion. It was good because there was nothing else, but it didn't work for the live music aspect. But recently,
there's probably a delay. It probably looked weird.
It did look weird, and the quality through your car stereo is just not there. It's, I mean, it's FM transmitted, right? But I have seen since then concerts that give your car a bubble, so you're allowed to get out, and you have your vehicle bubble, so you're allowed. It's like a music festival with just less people and more spread out. But it can work. So, and especially in Florida, where you guys kind of have weather that can permit it year round, it might be a viable option.
So the only problem with stuff like that, and this goes back to like another aspect is, yes, let's say that ATW can go back out on tour, but it has to be a tour like that, or it has to be like a half capacity. You know, touring expenses stay the same, but we're making half of the revenue. And so it's like, at what point have you just had enough to where you go out for 2 or 3 weeks and come, you know, break even or even maybe lose money, like, versus you just really want to get out there and like play, and you don't care. You don't care about losing money. But I think that's one thing that's probably going to be the biggest hump for touring bands is, you're technically going to be allowed to, but is it going to be like real full capacity? So in which case, you know, fans are not going to get the experience, because a band like us, you know, we're not going to be able to bring out a light show. Let's say that we can't bring out a sound guy, so we're relying on house engineers with no light shows. You know, it's going to be a stripped down performance. It's not going to be the full thing. It's not going to be the full awesome experience. So, but I think that this time next year, I think we're going to be gold for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I only say that because we have a full European tour this time next year. So we're going to be good.
Nice.
Yeah.
So the live stream, are we going to hear the new album on the live stream, or are you going to save that for in person?
No, we are going to do the new album. Probably in its entirety.
That's exciting to hear.
Yeah. So, again, because like, I mean, you know, it's at the end of the day, like being in a band, it is about your personal satisfaction, but the reason why you can keep doing it is because of fans, and the fact that our fans have been so rad with this album. It's so exciting. I can't even describe it, but so we like owe it to people to like do this stream so they can hear the songs and like see us playing them. So,
and for some people, it might be the only way they get to see you like that, like younger kids, or, you know,
Yeah.
us in New Brunswick, I flew to Toronto to see you guys. So, I mean, like, it's only a 2-hour flight, but it's a 14-hour drive. And I was like,
ooh,
yeah. So,
man.
I mean, that's we live in nowhere land.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's sick.
So you're going to play it in its entirety. Is that something you guys like? Do you like the idea of playing an album in its entirety? And would you ever go back and do that with another past album, like your first album, for example?
Yeah, for sure. We've thrown around the idea of, you know, choosing a town, you know, whether it's like San Francisco or like Chicago or Nashville, and doing 6 nights in a venue, and every night is a different album. That would be
awesome. That'd be
really
an insane
sweet
run.
Yeah,
crazy.
That would take some preparation on our end, but I think it would be awesome. That'd be really, really cool.
That'd be one of those type of events and runs that like people from all over would go. So you would have to do it in a hub, like you said, where with a big venue that would support people flying in from all around the world, because that something like that would get us across the country for sure.
Yeah. And like you could get tickets to every night, or you could be like, I only want to see Dying Surfer. So you get tickets to that. But yeah, that would be cool. I mean, I think that we've been a band for 8 years now, and I think that would be a cool thing to do at like on our 10-year anniversary or something.
I mean, a lot of
I don't want to be giving away like too many of my secrets and plans, but that'd be fun.
Fuck yeah.
I'm not saying that it's gonna happen, but if it did, it would be in year 10.
It's nice.
In Chicago.
Sick.
What venue?
I don't know. Or Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto would be sick.
I mean,
that would be cool. It's easy place for people to fly into.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I had a ton of fan questions sent in, so I'm going to try to rattle some off for you right now and see if we can get through them all.
Cool.
Ryan K said, I know he was a big REM fan, and particularly his tone was a chase of the album Monster. Besides Monster, what other REM albums stand out for him, or tracks in particular?
I like Green, and let's see, Automatic for the People.
Nice.
That one's good. This on that album, the song Night Swimming is pretty unreal. It's just piano and cello, and then Michael Stipe. So pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, and like I wish I could say that I was into like Murmur, which, you know, a lot of like punk people who dig REM, that's like their album, but I don't know. I was mainly into like the 90s REM stuff. Nothing really. Actually, I don't even know. I think Green might have been late 80s. I'm not sure. But yeah, I really like, I mean, Monster's obviously my favorite, but
nice.
I stopped listening to them after they put out Up.
Yeah. That was the turning point.
I think that's what that album was called. It was bad. Anyway.
Sorry, REM. Fishbelly 86 Onions asked, does a live version of Surface to Air Whistle exist?
No. Well, yes. The version. That was all live.
And that's it.
That's the only time we've ever played it.
And will it ever come back?
Yeah, I'm sure during a jam. Sometimes we sound check with it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I guess I just contradicted myself.
So we got to bootleg it.
Yeah. That cowbell. The cowbell jam.
Fuck yeah. Matt Pod J asked, when can we hear you sing lead vocals again?
That's a good question. I don't know. It's one of those times where I won't tell anyone. It'll just happen.
Maybe on the new country album that you put out once you get those guitar lessons.
Yes. There you go. Yeah.
You got a sick, like, Western vocal, I think.
Mm-hmm. That is something that I would definitely be interested in, is just playing country music and singing with my really deep voice.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. I was in Nashville for 10 years. I got cred.
Man, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
GCU Happy Idiot Talk said, I'm British. Aside from the full English breakfast, our national cuisine is awful. What food did you survive on whilst recording Nothing as the Ideal? That's it?
I ate, so I'm not making this up. I ate 2 things during while we were there. So normally when we're in London, we always get Indian food because it's dope. It's like the best Indian food ever. But this last time I ate the same thing every day for lunch, which was pho at this place around the corner from Abbey Road. And then we went to the same like little gastro pub every night, and I got a cheeseburger every night. A cheeseburger well done and a dirty martini.
Perfect.
It's great.
That's a good one.
I didn't eat anything else.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Kelsey wants to know, which song are you most excited to play off the new album?
41.
Any particular reason?
I like the riff. I like the breakdown when it gets when it gets like super heavy when I'm doing that. I like when it goes down to that part and it's like the most heavy, sludgiest thing that I think that we've done. I love that part. So I'm excited to do that live and just like feast my eyes on the crowd, just going ham.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh man, that is awesome. Vintage Octopus said, what new ideas and influences were brought into the latest record? And as a whole, how does the band approach deciding on the track order?
So the track order, that's less artistic of an answer, but it was the only track order that we could do to where all the songs could fit without one side of the album being too long. So that was what we had to do it like that. And then we wanted Saturnine to be first. We wanted Rats to be last. So everything else just kind of was where it was because like the songs on like the sides, because if we flipped one of the songs and put it on another side, it would be like one side would be like 24 minutes, which is a little bit too much on a side. And then one side would be like, short. So
vinyl math.
Yeah, it was definitely vinyl math.
Nice.
Done by our amazingly awesome engineer. I didn't have to do any of it. He just did all of it. And it was like, okay, how about this?
So what about the ideas and influences? Like, did anything new influence this album that hasn't really been an influence on previous albums?
We wanted to do a metal album. So that was our rendition of a metal album. So
perfect.
Yeah. We wanted it to be heavy because I don't know, personally, I think that we might have lost some people on the combination of ATW and Sleeping Through the War. Although they're both rad albums, I think that we lost some of the original fans of our band by venturing more into like the kind of the alternative, like bluesy realm. And so, we weren't like selling out wanting to just, get fans back, but we wanted to rock out. We wanted an album that would be super fun to play live and like really heavy and like people headbang to. And maybe mosh.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So somewhat of a return to your roots, per se.
Yes,
Nice.
Absolutely.
Nice. Sax Waffles says, absolutely love every album y'all have put out, and as long as it's fun, don't stop making music. ATW is one of the few modern bands that I have found with such a bitchin' tone as a whole. What are your 3 favorite Hendrix songs or performances?
Oh, good question. Awesome. So on the Hendrix Blues compilation, it's just called Hendrix Blues, the last track. It's a live version of Hear My Train A-Comin'. I would say that is probably my favorite thing. And then the second track on that Hendrix Blues compilation it's just an instrumental version of Born Under Bad Sign. I mean, that to me is, I think, some of the best guitar playing out there on like both of those songs. I definitely like, you know, when he stretches out more, you know, not just like Purple Haze where it's like a 3.5 minute song, but I like to hear him go nuts. And yeah, Born Under Bad Sign, the second track on the Hendrix Blues compilation, and then the last track, Hear My Train A-Comin', the live version. And then my third favorite would probably be Machine Gun.
Sick.
Which is funny. It's funny because Hendrix actually didn't like the album, the Abandoned Gypsies album. He didn't want the label to like put it out. He was kind of upset with how out of tune his guitar was in, and he couldn't stand all of Buddy Guy's or Buddy Miles, all of the drummers like kind of like stuff. He apparently like hated that. And so I don't know, I like read an interview about that. I think it's actually in the liner of Band of Gypsies, but Machine Gun, I mean, it has the greatest one note solo, like the where he's just like letting it ring. It's awesome.
Yeah,
so those are three.
You guys covered what, Manic Depression, that last tour? Was that?
Yeah, we covered Manic
mix?
Depression.
Yeah.
And then we also covered Born Under a Bad Sign.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I guess that. Oh, also, what was that other Hendrix song that we covered? Voodoo Child.
Yeah.
But like the it was like the slower version.
Yeah.
Not like the it wasn't that one. It was like the slow one.
Was that on like a Jimi Hendrix compilation album?
Yeah, it was on the Electric Ladyland redo.
Right. Yeah. Cool.
Fuck yeah. I get into a little of a trance when you start playing. It's fucking awesome.
Hell yeah.
Have you ever seen...
I'll do more.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
How much do we owe you now? Those lessons.
Nothing.
Have you ever seen Derek Trucks live? And
yes.
How do you feel about his playing? Someone asked.
Love him.
Yeah,
absolutely
he's fucking crazy.
Yeah. He lives in Jacksonville. He lives like 30 minutes north of me. And I'm hoping, because like I'm planning on playing with some like local like kind of cover bands and stuff, doing like kind of bluesy or Western music. And I'm hoping that he comes down and happens to see me play sometime. That'd be really cool.
That'd be awesome.
But Yeah, he's rad. He's someone that I would absolutely love to like sit down and just like watch him play. Again, like it goes back to like if I could pay $100 to take a lesson from him, I absolutely would. I'd probably pay 1,000.
I saw him live one time, and he did some cool slide tricks that I'd never seen people do. Like he'd be in a slide solo, and he'd slide up and then kind of tack it with his strumming hand, take the slide off, and then take that note back with his other hand and go back into the solo, and then do it again, and then tack it, put the slide back on, and then go back from it again. Oh man, like seamlessly. It was fucking cool to see.
It also does like the like those harmonic things. They're wild.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome.
I stole that from him.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
He's like the fucking king of slide. He's so crazy.
Yep.
Any talks about covering some Peter Green in the future?
Well, we covered the song Before the Beginning by Fleetwood Mac, and that is on our Bandcamp page.
Nice.
So, but yeah, I mean, I would like to cover more songs on the album called Then Play On. That would be awesome. I'm a massive Peter Green fan. I'm a big Danny Kerwin fan as well. He was like the other guitar player who I think he was like, obviously he was a different player, but he was just as good, had just as much soul as Peter Green, and wrote a lot of the songs on the Then Play On album. Although there's this one guy on Instagram who like every time I mention Kerwin, he like finds me, he like calls me out. He's like, no, Kerwin couldn't touch Peter Green. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, dude, just listen to the albums. Like, yeah, Green is awesome, but so is Danny Kerwin. Like, you know, just because he, I don't know. Instagram characters. Dude, no. It's fun. Yeah.
Jay Metis wants to know, what soloing tips do you have for guitarists?
So I'm a very pentatonic based, like a pentatonic scale based guitar player. I'm not afraid to stay in the pentatonic box. I think that's like kind of one of those buzzwords that guitar players are like terrified of. It's less, when you're soloing, focus less on what scale you're in or doing and focus more on what you're actually playing. Like if I'm in a pentatonic scale and like a B minor, you know, yeah, this is the pentatonic scale box. But I'm not going to do that. Like I don't care about hitting every note in a pentatonic scale. I'm going to focus more on what I'm doing. Like technically that's in that is the pentatonic scale, but I'm not like focusing on that, you know. You have to, when you're soloing, put feeling and like thought behind the note. Focus more on like, you know, a singer's not just going to go do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, re, mi, like blah, blah, blah. No, they're going to do like a, you know, a singer is going to sing. So with a guitar, it should be the same thing.
Yeah, you can
bend a lot.
Keep it simple, but just make it your own. I know what you mean. Like we both play guitar, and the pentatonic scale was the first thing you learn, basically, like when you start soloing, and it's the same idea. Don't just don't just walk it. Like do something with it.
Yeah, I do a lot of bends and stuff. Like And then I do a lot of half step stuff. So I'll do like pentatonic scale, but then and that's where like the Jerry Garcia stuff kind of comes in.
Nice. Yeah. I'm more of a Neil Young. I just hit
steps.
one note and rip it for as long as I can.
Yeah. Also, like choosing like one string at a time and just I like doing, if I want to bridge the gap between, you know, if I'm down here and then I want to get to here, just only doing one string all the way up.
Yeah.
So
where do you hide the pick of destiny, and who'd you get it from?
the pick of destiny, I just use these Dunlop USA 0.33 millimeter, just the Tortex yellow ones. They're my favorite. But I do have a pick. I saw the Sword before I even knew any of those guys, and before I was even in All Them Witches and we toured with them. I was seeing the Sword in Nashville, and the singer JD threw out a pick in the crowd, and it was this green, just like Dunlop pick, and it like had his name on it, and then on the other side it said the Sword, and I still have it.
Nice.
And I was too afraid to tell him about it when we toured. So, like, dude, I caught your pick.
Got your pick, man. It's in my wallet.
Gotta play it cool.
Yeah.
And RP Tullis 98 wants to know, when is ATW coming back to Nashville?
I mean, technically we'll be in Nashville for the live stream, but we'll be at an undisclosed location that's not open to the public. But I can say that we have big plans. The next time that we actually play Nashville, there are big plans in the works. So get excited.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Teaser. Well, man, we saw you in, was it Portland, Maine?
Yeah, on the.
You guys were with Mastodon and Primus. And
Yeah.
Just unbelievable. Like, you guys opened the whole night, but I think you kind of stole the show. It was my first time seeing you guys, and it just blew me away. And I just wanted to tell you that it was fucking incredible, and I can't wait till shows open back up and you guys can tour and I can fucking see you guys again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, actually that show, do you remember how windy it was?
I do.
On the wharf.
It was unreal. It was crazy. Like it was blowing the sound on stage around so much. Like we didn't think that we did well, because like it was so windy and it was freezing, and it was like June or something.
Yeah, it was
or May,
freezing.
End of May. But I'm really, really glad that it translated.
Yeah.
And that you dug it. That means a lot.
You guys, it was an early start to the show, and I think that's what, I don't know if that's why you got the vibe that you didn't do well, but it was like people were still kind of arriving while you guys were playing, and it was a fairly short set, and it was cold, it was windy, but I am of the belief that windy can help bands, and I find your style and your guys' music, that in and out and that wavy sound, it kind of complemented your show, and I thought it was fucking unreal.
Sweet.
Yeah, that was my first time too, but I bought tickets to guys' shows like 4 or 5 times previous to that. Like, every time I was supposed to go like drive to Boston, or we were gonna drive to New York for a show, it's just like something came up, and like I used to have the ticket stubs in my wallet for like years. I was like, I gotta go see them. Then a new album came out, like gotta go see them, and then just everything would fall through, and you'd be 12 hours away, not 6, and it's like, fuck. But yeah, I was so pumped to see you guys at the Opera House that time. It's a highlight show for my life.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Like I said, we're in Canada, so our Portland show for us is still a 5-hour drive. So it's an event when we go see somebody play live. So I mean, hopefully you guys maybe play the Waterfront in Bangor sometime soon. Their outdoor venue is pretty sick.
That would be awesome. That would be really cool.
Right on, man. Well, Ben, thank you so much for doing this. It's been a fucking pleasure and an honor to talk to you, man.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time, and thanks for being flexible, and I appreciate it. And I had a blast chatting with you guys. So,
Oh, man.
Right on.
Take care of yourself and keep the music coming.
all right. See you guys soon. Cheers.
Cheers. Hey guys, if you're still here listening and you haven't done so already, you might as well take a minute and follow us on Facebook and Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. All these links can be found at livingthedream506.com. Thank you for your support and keep dreaming.